Welcome to Cord Cutting Today for May 23rd, 2019. This is the show where I give you a quick look at some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below, I'll put a link to each story. You can read about them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, hey, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high-cost cable TV, but still watch the shows you enjoy. First, before we get into the news though, real quick, we have an app on iOS and Android and Amazon Fire tablets that gives you access to all the stories we talked about today and more over at cordcardsnews.com. It's a perfect app made for mobile devices for best reading. You can adjust the size of the text, dark or light modes, even favorite stories. If there's a guide you particularly enjoy that you want to reference later maybe, you can save it so you can always find it very quickly and easily. If you enjoy our app, do me a favor, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes or Google Play. It really does help. If you haven't tested it out, link in the show notes. Give it a try. It's 100% free. There isn't a paid version if you want to remove all ads from it. It does have less ads than our mobile website version. But if you want to remove all ads, there's an option for that. Link in the show notes down below. It would be a huge help. We would really appreciate it. All right, well, let's dive into the news from the past 24 hours. First up, Philo's month-long free trial is back. It's a limited time deal. You need to get through Living Social. If you go to Philo's website, you will not get this deal. Just to warn you, again, if you want this month-long free trial of Philo, you have to use the link down below or you won't find it on their website. But Philo offers a ton of content. And it is a great option, especially if you're not very big into sports or news, because it really does focus on a lot of content out there. And I know a lot of people use it to supplement other streaming services, like a YouTube TV, a PlayStation View, to give them access to content that may not be on their other services. So check it out, link in the show notes. All right, real quick. First story of the day, Sling TV has a new head of international services. So Sling TV's international department actually has been around longer than regular Sling TV. It used to be called Dish International. They still do have a Dish International, but now they have a streaming version of it too. It includes content from all over the world, giving them access to a ton of sporting events, news programs, entertainment shows, movies from a wide range of different countries. You can pick different packages from different parts of the world. Now it has a new head of the team who is coming in, and international has been a big part of Sling TV and of their growth. Be very interested to see what a new head of Sling TV's international does. Question for anybody here, do you use Sling's international packages? If so, what do you think of it? They have a pretty compelling lineup, and when you look at the total number of internationals, if they're not the service with the most internationals, if they're one of them out there, something I think a lot of people overlook in their when they talk about streaming services is Sling's international package. All right, next story of the day. Hulu CEO is in a podcast recently. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, but he talks about why they haven't really been promoting their ad-free version. According to Sling CEO, the average ad-supported customer makes them $15 a month from the ads. And so it explains why, hey, yeah, there is an ad-free version, but it's actually more profitable for Hulu if you get the ad-supported version, even at $5.99 a month, versus the like $12 or whatever it may be right now for the ad-free version. So this goes back to the idea that ads are incredibly profitable on streaming. Even people tell me more so than on traditional TV, because they can target it to you specifically and say this person watches this kind of programming, so they'll probably be interested in this kind of shows. You watch a lot of HGTV content, maybe you'd be interested in this. Watch a lot of sports, and maybe you'd be interested in that, and so on. So this content it seems to be one of the main reasons why Hulu has been so successful in their ad-supported version that they even lowered the price at a point when a lot of streaming services were raising their costs to address the higher cost of content. As there's a bidding war out there for content, Hulu actually said for our ad-supported version, we're going down $2 to $5.99 a month. This is this is a model that a lot of people have pointed to, saying, hey, This is what other streaming services should do. People have even said Netflix should do this. They should offer an ad-supported version and then an ad-free version. I'd love to know what you think of that. Would you pay less for Netflix if it had ads, or would you rather pay a little bit more if it was ad-free? When you look at the numbers of their base package is $5.99, but they're bringing in on average over $15 a month per subscriber, you can see the power of ads and why so many people are very excited about them. So, and again, link in the show notes to the full details, and in our story there's even a link to the podcast if you want to hear him talk about this in his own words. But I'd love to know what you think. Leave us a comment, let us know. Next story up of the day, Amazon's Fire TV Stick versus the Fire TV Cube. We get a lot of questions like this, which device is better than the other? So we wanted to give you a full breakdown of our experience when we look at this, which one offers different benefits to each one. So make sure, if you've been thinking about this, make sure you check out our review section over at CoreCutters.news.com. We have a ton of reviews of different streaming players and streaming services and a wide range of different topics. So check it out over at Amazon's Fire, or over at CoreCutters.news.com. Right on the homepage right now is our review of the Amazon's Fire TV Stick 4K versus the Fire TV Cube. We picked these two to compare because they're both HD 4K streaming devices. The Cube is a little older, includes a Fire TV Echo built in, where the Fire TV Stick does not. Fire TV Stick 4K is more portable, but there's trade-offs on both sides. So Just did a great breakdown. I'd love to know though, do you own both? Which one would you recommend and why? Leave us a comment. All right, our last big story of the day. And this is a fun one that actually comes from you, our readers and viewers from over at our Cord Cutting Tech Support group. We asked them, how many streaming services paid do you subscribe to? Now, we're not talking about like Pluto TV or Xumo or the Roku channel. We were very clear that these have to be paid streaming services. Over 95% of our readers say they subscribe to 4 or less. 70-some% of them said they subscribe to 3 or less. And once you got over, I believe, 5, it was like not even 1% of our readers said they had 6, 7, 8, or 9 or more services in each category. So very, very interesting results. This lines up very well with what we've seen from a lot of other places. Of course, there's still the attack. You saw a story go live on USA Today recently that basically said, hey, you know, if you're not careful, you can end up paying more than cable TV. And a lot of that has been on the idea that you would subscribe to so many services that you would actually pay more than you do for cable TV. Well, when talking to our readers, we see that just doesn't seem to be the case. Cord cutters seem to be very adept at the idea that I'm going to add this service and then drop that service when I've watched what I wanted. For instance, we saw, according to Google search trends, a huge spike in how to unsubscribe from HBO Now once Game of Thrones ended. So it definitely seems like a lot of people have learned that I'm going to add and drop services based on what's available at this time. So a few questions for you. How many streaming services do you subscribe to? How many things do you pay for? Do you use a lot of ad-supported content? Are you like, hey, I got Netflix and Hulu maybe, and then I have Pluto, the Roku channel, Xumo, Sony Crackle, Tubi, etc.? I'd love to know what your balance is there. It really does help us get a good idea of what is happening in the world of cord cutting, because your feedback is really important to us. I find this happens in my house a lot. I've talked about it often. You know, Silicon Valley's on HBO, I get HBO. When Silicon Valley's done, I drop it. But during that time, I'm binge watching everything on HBO Now. One of the biggest mistakes I find a lot of new cord cutters make is that when they're new to cord cutting, they treat it a lot like cable, right? When I subscribe to something, I have it, and I just have it. Even if I don't really use it that much this month, but maybe this fall when that show comes back, I'll want it. Well, with cord cutting, you can actually say, hey, you know, it's end of May, my show is done, let me unsubscribe. When my show comes back, I will resubscribe. So don't be afraid to break free from this idea that you need to have it all the time. Hulu, at their big press event, even went as far as talk about how they intend to make it a lot easier to do things like add and drop live TV. Because they understand a lot of people subscribe to their live TV service for maybe football season, or maybe during The Walking Dead. And then well, that's a bad example because I don't think they have it, but you get the idea. But when they're not watching their show, when it's over, they drop it. It definitely seems that that is the way a lot of these content or some cord cutters are moving, and I'd love to know, do you do that? If you don't do that, why not? Should you consider that? And I do know there's some services where there's just the content you want all year round, and that's great. But I find for a lot of the more niche, more premium services, a lot of people just actually watch them during certain times of the year, and then they drop them. So just keep that in mind. Well, that's it for today. I know, so tomorrow's Friday. When I was talking to everybody during the Q&A yesterday, I heard about how everybody's heading out for the weekend. So if I don't see you until next Tuesday, I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend here. Just remember, we will be here Friday and Saturday like normal, but on Monday, no show on Monday, back to normal on Tuesday going forward for our summer. If you are a huge fan of our videos and you're subscribed, make sure to ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. We'll have a podcast maybe a little bit later today, hopefully tomorrow. Jess is without power after some storms there. Everything's fine, just no power. So if no podcast today, maybe it's tomorrow, but I'm going to still try to get it out today. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow. Be safe and enjoy the beautiful weather.